Welcome to a special rock and roll. Overtime, every time. First we're going west, cloudy, dark day. Dancing is my favorite sport, and special Thelemites unite, North Americans unite. Greater feast for Papa Crowley, greater feast for Papa Crowley, greater feast for Papa Crowley. Rock and roll special edition, Adrian Hannah Dragon. Rainbow Dragon, aka Priestess, HNH, Priestess Hannah. 2 in 1, yours truly. Oh, we're gonna get some sun. Long march today. Thinking about meditating on the rock and roll poetry of Alistair Crowley. 24/7 for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks. Truck is on the road, and it's been on the chilly side, on the minus. So gotta put on some gloves. Auctioning everything that I'm wearing, $1 million each item, to give half that 50% to my anonymous friend, who wasn't my friend because of the money. Cause I never had any, and it's rock and roll. Rainbow Dragon for the truckers on the road. It's that Sunday, December 1st Sunday. Gonna go. Time to pay rent again, December, Pay rent, pay electricity bill, so that's what we're gonna do. Pay rent, pay electricity bill, pay rent, pay electricity bill. Electricity bill gotta be paid, so that's what I'm gonna go do. Gotta pay that rent, so it's rock and roll. Then we're gonna head up to the mountains, so it's gonna be like part one, or maybe with interjections, whatever the case may be. Stop here and there, and then drop it off to the mountain, my second home. And it's on the chilly day. It feels like winter is knocking on the door. Feels like winter's knocking on the door. Feels like winter's knocking on the door. Feels like winter's knocking on the door. And we got plenty of that galore. So we gotta rock and roll. For the butchers, for the farmers, hey. Gotta say hello to the Hydro-Quebec workers. Hydro-Quebec workers, thanks to the workers of the past, building all those dams. I can do this video with clean zero electricity. And, being at Asperger's, got that HFA, high functioning autism, and it's always my mind, my brain, my mental psychic energies always switch to one of my main obsessive interests. So of course it's my holy trinity, ASPE Trinity, is of course geopolitics 24/7. Geopolitics 24/7 is geopolitics 24/7 is geopolitics 24/7. Study analysis of geopolitics 24/7, plus not just geopolitics, fitness, sports, and dancing. Dancing is my favorite fitness, sports activity. Dancing is my favorite sport, fitness activity. Dancing is my favorite sport, fitness activity, and rock and roll, that trinity, rock and roll, geopolitics, sports. And gotta give a little bit of a challenge again to Donald Trump. Fight me in a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. Let's build that North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border for sports. And please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, please reduce the cost of the tickets by 44.9%, 44.9%. Give some free tickets, to the public workers, and parallel to the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, I will, to build, construct the Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple. That is something that I will to build, and I gotta give a shout out to the public transportation, public transit drivers. Gotta give a little LOV. Gotta sing it for the public transit workers. Bus drivers, gotta swing it. Hey, wait until you pause to swing it. Gotta be prudent on the road. That's a show. Hey, Nasima, brothers and my sisters, those 93 with it. 93 all day today. Greater feast, Say, bury me with Papa Crowley. A third of me up in New Jersey. A third of me up in the city, Mount Royal, and a third of me, of course, City of the Pyramids. I can cross to the other side. I'm gonna wait. Anyways, workout, training, exercising, special Sunday. Encouraging all to work out, train, exercise. Working out, training, exercise has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice, medicine and therapy of choice, freestyling, of course, marching steps. Always freestyling, always rock and roll, always geopolitics. Of course, the geopolitical event for today, main concern for North America as a North American Canadian Quebecer, is the threat of imposing 25% tariffs on all ALL, that's the worrisome part, on all Canadian products imported into the US. So back in 2018, the Trump administration and Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, 10%. So back then, actually, I started challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border, in a rink made of Canadian aluminum and steel, in a rink made of Canadian aluminum and steel, in a rink made of Canadian aluminum and steel, you know. And of course, Justin Trudeau went for a dinner. I wish I would have been there at the dinner, you know. So here's some shoes if somebody wants some shoes, and I'm not gonna touch because I got somebody gifted me shoes the other day, red shoes and white shoes, and that's what it is with that. And we gotta get it for the construction workers, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, all those, of course, involved in the production, distribution of food. I gotta meditate on all the workers, you know, as I do independent work as an independent athlete, artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, of which I am myself, of course, parallel to also being a mystic and wannabe Thelemite, you know, so many things I don't know. I do know that today, survived COVID, 2020, February, March. I almost died of COVID. I really died in my room off some temple where I am now, and was depressed, suicidal, crossed Canada coast to coast. And that event, crossing Canada coast to coast, maybe established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Quebecers, Canadians, and North Americans. A strong esprit de corps with my fellow Quebecers, Canadians, who are family, and all who pledge allegiance, thou art family, pledge your allegiance, thou art family, pledge your allegiance, thou art family. Sorors and Fraters, you know, thou my family, pledge your allegiance, Dragon Army, support it. The initiatives which fundamentally is the call for a public-private partnership across the North American collective civilizational complex, across the North American civilizational complex. So sometimes, you know, I fixate on certain things there, certain things which I get on the fixation to see what is that RME. See, Ashby mind, sometimes we focus on certain details which other citizens will see what's the point, you know, but we also, of course, try to interject, whatever the case may be, to interject, which, if it does have a meaning, a purpose for that signification or classification or a certain standard, it's something which the Asperger's mind, you know, it's neurodivergence. Again, it's not mental illness, but I'm just neurodivergent. It's not a mental illness. It's a neurodivergent condition, you know. It's just that we see we're a minority, right? Asperger's, people with HFA, high-functioning autistics, autism spectrum, but it's a neurodivergent condition, so it makes us predisposed to obsessive interest and to repetition of words, and also echolalia, repeating exact same sentence. If somebody says a sentence, we might repeat it, you know, and we have to be told certain things to do certain things, and because we don't really understand a lot of social cues. And for example, whatever the case, if I would have been at the dinner with Donald Trump and Trudeau and discussed my plan, my project, I would have probably gone on and on for like hours and non-cessantly, and I have to be told, okay, can you like stop speaking for a minute, for a moment. And so those tendencies which are part of the Asperger's conditions I live with and struggle because of it. But thank you to my anonymous friend who bought me some books, and thank you, shout out to my fellow Thelemites. Today is December 1st, we're celebrating Greater Feast. So to my fellow Thelemites, this independent rainbow, dragon, androgynous, pansexual, Aspie artist, athlete, philosopher who lays the foundations for the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, for the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, with 718 trillions of kisses I got crediting from the goddess. I do say GODDSS in my mystic spiritual beliefs. I do believe in the goddess, GODDSS as well, at the table of spirituality. We say, God, I got a goddess in. When you say God, I got a goddess in. They say God, but where the goddess? Goddess, GODDS at the table, you know, spiritual table. It's 50-50. So anyways, whatever mystery, spirituality aside, today, of course, we're celebrating, we're feasting on the on the anniversary of the death of my Papa Crolwey and Alistair Crowley, aka Puerto Rabo, greatest ever living poet, the greatest ever living poet, and I gotta turn my head left and right before I cross the street, since of course sometimes the brakes malfunction, the citizen driver might press the accelerator instead of the brake, you know. So those are things which of course can be in a circumstantial manner when you are in the corner, although there's a stop sign. Sometimes the brakes malfunction. What if the citizen driver by mistake presses the accelerator? Then you avoid accidents by being prudent, you know. Prudence, you know, it's also liberty, to be secured with liberty, secure with the individual liberty and the collective, and we got individual and collective responsibilities, duties and obligations, and here of course I'm in the public, so I got added responsibilities, duties and obligations which I do not have under the normal circumstances of life, right? If I would have stayed home, it would have not been the same. There would have been others responsibility, duties and obligations if I wouldn't have left my dragon's lair, and now I'm in the public, so I got added responsibilities and obligations, such as putting this trash in the trash and not putting it in the floors or not dropping it in the streets, you know, because whatever you put in the trash, and of course sometimes it's more dangerous than other things, because if it's chopped or glass, you know, so these things of course in the public. So calling for North American Union, the Democratic Republic, on this great feast day. It is December 1st, you know, so I always got to be worried about management of my Asperger's symptoms, my neurodivergence. There's no medication for Asperger's, right? There's no medication. There's only management of the symptoms, because it's not a mental illness. It's not a illness or a deficiency which can be treated per se. It's just neurodivergent. I am more and more in the past years aware of course of my neurodivergence, and that's what I have to do, just manage the symptoms. Oh, it smells so good. So you can get $35, which is, I just love the smell, but my place is too small, you know. My place is really small. I cannot have anybody over. I can only meet you in the public, you know, across the street. Again, I would have loved to attend the Trump dinner in order to discuss. I would have to let them know my Asperger condition makes me neurodivergent, and I have certain dispositions which make me awkward and weird, so I would have had, of course, to give them a warning about that and let them know what the case may be. So it's something which of course I gotta be mindful of. Here I am. We made it to the bank. Oh, don't leave your things here, because I mean, you know, bad actors, and I mean, I don't know if they can infer, but I would recommend you put your bills here, because it was right here. So I recommend that you put it, there's a little place there so you can put it and you push it in, so whatever the case may be. But it's something which you got to be aware of, you know, as an individual, and that of course it's the little piece of paper, the receipt, which indicates, you know, financial knowledge, you know. Now I know that in that certain bank account there's $718, so although of course the numbers are a bit blurred, you don't know the account number, but my recommendation is just putting it in the trash. Okay, so I gotta pay rent, withdraw from checking. 44, that's way too much. Yeah, that's better. Showing me how many it showed $44, $5. Said I don't want 12 bills. I just need to pay rent, so that's it. Maybe I can even lower it. Okay. 9 is better. 9 bills. 2 and 2 and 1 and 1. Okay. The bills that you want, confirm withdraw. I said it's 44. That's gonna be. Video not available. I guess I'm done, but oh, I forgot to pay the video not available. I never saw that before. I guess we gotta meditate on the tech. And now we gotta count the money. 100, 200, 100, 200, 300, 400, 450, 490, 500. So that's how we draw. I'm already in the minus now. See, I'm not gonna show you there, but now I'm already in the minus. It's just that I got protection, so I can go below. So I'm gonna do another. I have to pay my hydro. Hydro bill has to be paid. Can't go without hydro bill being paid. So 400, that's my rent, and my rent's pretty okay. Rent-wise, I cannot complain, you know. I'm grateful that cannot complain on the rent. See, but I'm already in the minus now. But I got a 500 protection, overdraft protection, so that is what it is with that. I'm just gonna put the money there, and this is gonna be for me, for food. I gotta get some money for food. So now I gotta pay hydro, and then I'm gonna struggle for transfer and payment. We gotta get that DRT for the creation of the UE. Pay bills. Hydro-Quebec. Correction is 72.45. Checking, confirm to Hydro-Quebec 72.45. Yeah, 72.45. That's what it was. Confirm payment. Hydro-Quebec, thank you for building those dams in the 20th century. So much brains and muscle to build, of course, all the dams, and across the North American Collective, we need to build more dams, and of course, that is one of my propositions to, instead of the tariffs, to impose, of course, alternatives. And here I am. Should I pay? So one more. Just gonna pay one more bill, and that's it. Basically 3 bills. That was paid for that. Need to make one more payment, the bill. Transfer and payment, transfer funds, pay Royal Credit Line, because I have $10,000 in debt, 10,000, so gonna make a little payment. Let's see, so I can get up to minus 500. So now if I have little calculations, I'm gonna pay 93 and 93 because it's special Crowley Mass, 93. Actually, not Crowley Mass, but the Greater Fee, so that's it. 93. That's it for that. So just put the wallet properly. Gotta get a new wallet. The wallet is kaput. Auctioning it for $1 million. Gotta get my second hand. Okay, that's it. Let's see. Disinfectant. Oh, they took away the disinfectant. Oh, usually I wash my hands here, but I guess I'm gonna have to wash my hands when I get back, because there was a disinfectant in the corner, but they took it out because I don't, the germs, bacteria, microbes, when you touch the screen and I touch the buttons, it's people's personal hygiene, and I get dirty but get back clean, and I guess I could use their terminology to use, of course, that in certain circumstances my ability are not the same, my capabilities It's less of an ability in certain circumstances of a social nature of an interaction, and sometimes even clumsiness in doing certain things, you know. But now that I meditate on when I press the buttons, all the germs, bacteria, microbes that somebody else might put, whatever the case may be, by mistake or non-knowledge, or of course you go in a store and you know, it's not like we wash our hands and disinfect our hands 24/7, 24/7, 24/7. We should do it more, and we should keep the COVID protocols of public hygiene. But I did notice in the past weeks and months, and maybe even since last year, when after the COVID got less and less on the news and less reports about it, that there's less and less use. But I mean, it's a habit which in the public we should try to maintain, you know. Like, my fitness journey always begins today, and for example, the new habit, well, it's not really new because it's been years and years and years for me working out, training, exercising. But what I mean to say that if you start a fitness journey anew, to keep it up working out, training, exercising, and like public hygiene, like during the COVID, to disinfect the hands is something which we gotta be aware of, and to let people know, disinfect a little bit. Like, I wish it could have still been there. Of course, they only have the counters there. They don't have the staff anymore. It's only that, but still, I think it should be just once a week to be replenished. Somebody from the RBC branch, Royal Bank of Canada. It's not like you're lacking finance. Not like you're lacking finance. Not like you're lacking finance, but it would be something, of course, that would be preferred to have available, the disinfectant, you know, to wash their hands from, wipe off the bacteria, the germs and the microbes, because, you know, you press those buttons. So I used only really, I guess, my fingers from the right hand, you know. So that's from the right hand only. We gotta get it on the do, and we gotta get it on the now, and I gotta get it for the do, and gotta watch here when I cross the streets, you know, because sometimes the brakes malfunction, so I always turn my head left to right, to make sure, you know, just out of double vigilance, double prudence. And gotta give a shout out again, first and foremost, today, all day, fellow Thelemites, you know. La Thelema, you know, that's what it is today, and still learning it every day, you know. Papa Crolwey, I guess I could say Papa Crolwey. Papa Crolwey was I guess a rolling stone, you know, in many ways, rolling stone, and that's what it is with that. And I always meditate on, I guess you can say, some prophecies, you know. But here we are, grateful, thankful, rent's paid, electricity bills paid. Well, rent's gonna be paid again, and that's what we gotta go do with that. That's what it go do with that, and here I am, man. I wish I could paint that gray here. Bring me some tools, bring me the permission, and bring me the paint. I'll paint here for the public and paint some blue, red, and white, you know, Quebec, Canada, US style, and even some of that rainbow. I just want to hydrate a bit. Thank you to those who put this in place for the public to hydrate, and all the aqueducts. Imagine all the public workers who took so much brains and muscle just to build around inside, underneath the aqueducts, for us to have clean water that we take sometimes for granted. But brothers and sisters, civilization is a privilege. Running water, electricity, so all these brains and muscle, you know. I wait a bit because, you know, sometimes it's better to wait a few seconds. I guess 45 seconds is sufficient. Oh yeah, that's what it is. I would love some color here, you know. I love some color. It's a great day today. Winter is at the door. December 1st. You know, we celebrate today what's called the greater feast. So I got some change, I guess. I can Get myself some food. Maybe a little cake for Papa Crowley, a little cake for Papa Crowley, a little cake for Papa Crowley, or some sweets, I guess. Whatever the case may be, you know, just to have some feast. Feast on a budget, a little rich first and foremost in kisses, rich first and foremost in kisses, rich first and foremost in kisses, you know. Kisses I got, you know, by the trains, and gotta salute those are electric buses, and we need more like that. But see, that one's 100% electric, so we're putting more electric buses on the road, which is great, because here in Hydro-Quebec we got hydroelectricity, and I'm excited that we're gonna be building more hydroelectric dams in the coming years. And I think that would be my protocol proposition in order to have negated those 25% tariffs, which of course 25% imposing tariffs on Canadian goods is really a big percentage, because it's every dollar is a dollar. For every dollar is 25 cents, for every $10 is 2.5, and for $100 is $25. $25 for every $100 is $25. For every $100 is $25. You know, so meditate on that. So many goods, because my brothers and sisters, this Quebecer Canadian was born in the USA 3 times, once as a woman, twice as a man. And as a man was served in the United States Armed Forces in the same U.S. Army between 1776 and 1984. And of course, once I was born a woman, but when I was born a man, I served in the United States Army. 2 different wars, 156 years apart. 2 different wars, 156 years apart. 2 different wars, 156 years apart. So let's go for that NORAD NATO. We got to open up 44 tunnels, in order, of course, to have and build 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war, thermonuclear war. That's what I gotta build, you know, that's my project. And of course I gotta interject and put inside when I do this video my work as a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist from many years, more than 7, that I predicted back in 2019 in October, December, and I got proof October, November, and then it went on for the next years, and even today, right, because it continues, that I predicted an international conflagration. So I predicted an international conflagration back in 2019. In 2019, I predicted an international conflagration in 2019. But my prediction, of course, was based on several elements, and mainly the main element to remember, to subtract, and of course one of the most important was that due to the fact that many nations, states, civilizations, and regional complexes or geopolitical regions were not able to did not resolve their 20th century conflicts in a peaceful manner, that's going to be a spillover, a continuity in the 21st century. So that is, of course, the main idea, if you will, the main idea of the whole analysis. To make a resume, right? To make a resume. You know, that's what it is, and that's what it is with that. So to make that resume, that what it was based on, deep analysis, geopolitical analysis, because my brain, my psyche is most of the time involved. I speak myself as an individual aspect, but it revolves around our obsessive interests, you know, and we can be intense. So me, due to the fact that it's geopolitics, it's 24/7 geopolitics, fitness, sports, dancing is my favorite sport activity. Dancing is my favorite sport and fitness activity, and rock and roll 24/7, those 3, you know. That's how it is with the Aspie minds. We have obsessive interests and we can be socially awkward, but not when it comes to our obsessive interests. And geopolitically, I predicted what's happening now based on several levels of analysis. Of course, several levels of... Focus the camera now outside of me, because I see that they're wearing red, and it's my favorite color, you know, so I gotta be seeing that red. And I love to see the red, you know, so I love to see the red and the people holding hands, and people holding hands and smiled at me, said hello, nodded, and I said hello, you know. And social interactions can be more difficult is people have to understand what Asperger's is, HFA, I'm good in geopolitics, I'm great in geopolitics, excellent. I predicted what's happening now to make a resume based on the fact that many civilizations, nation states, regions, and of course nation states, regions have not been able to resolve their conflicts dating from the 20th century. That's gonna be they're gonna restart in the 21st century. So Russia, Ukraine, that's an unresolved conflict from the 20th century. In the Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Israel, the Arab world, it dates from the 20th century. Potentially China and Taiwan, it dates from the 20th century. Here, I always say in Quebec, Canada as a Quebec, Canadian, North American, would be able to resolve our conflicts in a peaceful manner. We have our tensions for the French language, but look, my Prime Minister makes an effort. He makes an effort to speak in English. He makes an effort to speak in English. He makes an effort to speak in English. So it's the same with us as Quebecers. Myself, as much as I love the French language, I have to make an effort. I really have to make an effort, right? To encourage others. There's a way about it. I always say to my fellow Quebecer family, but there's a way about it, right? There's a certain way about it. We have also want to put in value the French language, which we love here. It's culture. It's not just Celine Dion, right? It's Quebec French culture is more than Celine Dion. Although Celine Dion is a 20th and 21st century icon for the French language. Quebec language in North America is a great artist, which I would love to give a big hug, like a big Aspie hug. But nonetheless, there's tensions, there's things we give and we take at the table, but we have to make compromises. Means by rock and roll, by art, by comedy, it's things of that nature which we have, which I have myself, So that's what it is, and that's what I gotta do, and I keep gotta doing, I keep gotta doing. I do have to do. Sometimes it requires doing. Like taking action of understanding in the past 45 months what my Asperger's, Aspie, neurological developmental condition means and how to work on it with others who are neurotypicals. So that's my neurodivergence. It's not necessary. In certain things, I have less abilities, yes. Some say disability, but it's less abilities. My abilities in certain circumstances are less than others, yes. In certain things I am mediocre. In certain things I am average. In certain things I am so-so. I have my clumsiness, I have my symptoms which I gotta work on. If you're an Aspie, it can be tough for neurotypicals. It's lots of patience, lots of time, lots of struggle and effort it can be to fully understand Asperger's, and I've lived my own trauma, scars, suffering, being depressed and suicidal, and then I remember moving and across Canada coast to coast, and lots of trauma, but in the past 45 months I'm joyous. I survived COVID. COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. COVID for me was like really like death, pestilence, and disease. I thought I was gonna die. I survived. I got 3 vaccines, triple vaxxed, triple, 3 only, that's it for me. And public hygiene, that's important. And regular physical exercise. I have been and will continue to call for citizens to be encouraged and financed and supported to exercise. It's super important for mass physical exercise, physical activity, great for the mental health, great for the body, and gratitude to be grateful, even if I am financially stressed. It's December, I'm going to be able to pay my rent. Thank you the workers of the 20th century who built Quebec, Canada, North America. That's why I'm able to get a little financial help, to be able to pay my rent, to be able to buy me a little bit of cake for the greater feast, to be able, of course, get some second hand and buy a ring, because I'm going to propose. Maybe today, maybe on the 3rd, maybe. I think Christmas Eve would be best. If I propose on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, the 24th. If I propose on the 24th, that would be maybe a little bit of rock and roll and something like that, you know. So that's maybe what I should do. Wait and propose on the 24th. Propose on the 24th of propose on the 24th of propose on the 24th propose on the 24th night, I guess evening maybe. I'm gonna beg and try to get a ring by then, try to get a ring, you know, maybe like that. And that's what it is with that, and that's what I gotta keep going and keep moving and encourage all to hug like you never hugged before with consent today, you know. Hug like you never hugged before. That is the main message today. And hug like you never hugged before. Hug like you never hugged before, you know. Hug like you never hugged before today. Consent and hygiene celebrate together the Crowley Mass. It's not Crowley Mass. Crowley Mass is the birthday, and it's the greater feast, which we celebrate. Bury me with Papa Crowley up in New Jersey. A third of me up in Papa Crowley up in New Jersey. Papa Crowley, a third of me up in Hampton, New Jersey. A third of me, City of the Pyramids. A third of me, Mount Royal. So that's it. That's all rock and roll.